Fox 61 News at 5 starts now.
Search and rescue teams have been out countless hours, straight through the night, nonstop.
Now at 5, recovery efforts continuing in Florida after Hurricane Ian, how local organizations are assisting.
And challenging state gun laws, a lawsuit alleges a ban on automatic weapons is unconstitutional. Local leaders are responding tonight.
And a vice presidential visit in Connecticut where Kamala Harris will be stopping and what she's expected to discuss.
Plus, help with home heating costs. Officials are helping people in Connecticut as we enter these colder months.
And good evening, and thanks for joining us at 5. I'm Brent Harden.
And I'm Sarah Sanchez. We begin with some breaking news tonight. One person is dead after a double shooting in the capital city.
Fox 61's Alicia Machado joins us live on scene now in Hartford with what we know at this point. Alicia?
Yeah, good evening, guys. Still a very active scene here tonight on Park Street. Although the roads have been reopened, police are conducting their homicide investigation, as you can see behind me, right here near Park Street and Pope Park Highway. Their efforts seem to be concerned near a building in this area, inside of a parking lot. Right now, police are expected to come out soon and give us some more information about exactly what happened here. But as we told you earlier, police have confirmed 2 people shot and 1 person dead, at least 1 person dead. This is near Parkville Market and the Pope Commons area. The Hartford Police crime scene truck arrived to the scene just about half an hour ago. We are keeping an eye on this for you, and we'll bring you the latest as we get this both on air and online at fox61.com. For now, we can confirm for you that an active homicide investigation is underway here along Park Street. The roads have reopened. We're live in Hartford tonight. Alicia Machado, Fox 61 News.
All right, thank you, Alicia. Of course, we'll be following that breaking news story. Vice President Kamala Harris is set to visit Central Connecticut State University Wednesday to speak on the topic of reproductive rights.
And she will be joined in a roundtable discussion by Congresswoman Jahana Hayes and the national president of Planned Parenthood. Fox 61's Tony Terzi joins us live from the CCSU campus now with a preview of the visit. Tony.
You know, Secret Service and local law enforcement have been preparing for Vice President Kamala Harris's visit since yesterday and will do so over the next couple of days to prepare the administration building behind us for the Vice President to come and speak in a theater inside there. And I know some are wondering, well, how was Central chosen as the site for her to speak? Well, the answer you get depends on which side of the political aisle you're speaking to. 5th District incumbent Congresswoman Jahana Hayes, a Democrat, says the vice president is visiting her just 5 weeks before Election Day, not as a campaign stop.
We can talk about the economy. The economy is cyclical, and we're recovering from a pandemic, and I think people understand that. What we have to drive home is that the evisceration of women's rights is not something that comes back quickly.
Her challenger, former Republican State Senator George Logan, says bringing in the vice president is absolutely about trying to secure her reelection. And he contends the public cares far more about other issues.
If you take a look at some of the numbers that just came out as far as Connecticut's economy, has shrank in the second quarter as measured by gross domestic product, right? 4.7%. Personal income growth for Connecticut is dead last in the nation.
Today, the National Republican Congressional Committee called Hayes desperate by bringing in the vice president, and NRCC says Hayes is always out of touch.
I'm not surprised that the NRCC would put out a statement like that because they're trying to distract attention from the fact that once the women's reproductive freedoms are gone, they're gone.
And Logan made a point to say that campaign ads suggesting he's not pro-choice are false.
I have always supported a woman's right to choose as long as it's safe, legal, and rare. I am adamantly opposed to late-term abortions, with my opponent is in favor of no restrictions on abortion up to the moment of birth.
My challenger just had a press conference committing himself to the national agenda, Kevin McCarthy's commitment to America, which would put us on the path to a national ban on abortion.
If you have any questions about where George Logan actually stands, you can ask him in person. He says he's hosting a public forum this week. This is not going to be a public forum, but some members of the public and the student body here at Central will be permitted to attend the roundtable discussion. Still no timing yet, but it's happening Wednesday. We're live in New Britain. Tony Terzi, Fox 61 News.
All right, Tony, thank you. Turning to the weather now, a cool day outside, cloudy, gloomy. This, you know what it is? This is Mother Nature saying, okay, you remember that really bright, hot, sunny summer you just had? Winter is coming.
Yep.
Yeah. Right?
And remember all those times you complained about the humidity and the heat? Well, here you go. Hope you like it.
I know how quickly the tables have turned, and we are going to be kind of settling into this weather pattern over the next couple of days. We'll continue to be cloudy and chilly and wet at times with occasional showers. We're getting a little taste of those showers out there right now. Not talking about a ton of rainfall, but Guilford over through Madison, seeing a few raindrops, and that continues up through Salem, Norwich, and Griswold, currently getting some. And those little green bands coming in off the shoreline are making it as far north as Plainfield tonight as well. There's heavy rain to the south of us with a storm that's off the coast of Delaware right now. It looks like New Jersey's getting the heaviest rain, and we're just kind of on the northern fringe here, but still enough to bring us those off and on showers, off and on rain for the next couple of days. There will be dry time in between, though. Winds out of the northeast, 5 to 15 miles per hour sustained, which means consistently. And then occasionally you get those gusts up to 25 miles per hour. Temperatures are in the 50s. It feels kind of raw, especially, at this time of year. It's a bit of a shock to the system. Here are those showers kind of pinwheeling around that low, which will be to the south of us, and we'll see them become more numerous as we head into the day tomorrow, again with high temperatures climbing into the 50s. We will talk about when the sun returns. It's in my forecast, I promise, coming up in just a bit.
Thank you, Rachel. Well, it'll be a long road ahead for the victims of Hurricane Ian. Volunteers from across Connecticut are in Florida right now to help with that recovery.
Fox 61's DeAndrea Turner brings us the efforts of one such volunteer in Florida now. She joins us in the studio with his story. DeAndrea.
Well, Britt and Sarah, tonight the story of many volunteers from Connecticut helping the people of Florida. I caught up with Joe Apicella on the phone because there is weak signal, just one of the challenges that they are facing after Hurricane Ian. Tour across their cities and towns.
American Red Cross has complimentary meals for everyone and anyone who would like to enjoy a meal.
You've seen the devastation spanning across Florida from Hurricane Ian. Destruction like this is bringing people like this here to help. Joe Apicella and his American Red Cross partners drove more than 19 hours from Connecticut to Florida.
People will be getting 2 meals a day, and that's our goal. That's why we're here. That's our goal.
Showing us the situation for people through the lens of his cell phone.
Pretty palms and different kind of foliage in between each home, and it looks like a buzzsaw went through it.
Joe is no stranger to helping after natural disasters. This is his 53rd relief trip with the American Red Cross. His job now is to make sure families are fed.
I will let the clients know, good morning, this is your American Red Cross. We are on Smith Street. We have hot meals.
It took Joe and his Red Cross partner hours longer than expected to get to their location to help.
Yeah, an hour and a half drive took over 4 hours.
This bumper-to-bumper traffic is a bittersweet problem.
And it seems like here we are Monday morning, and a million of them are trying to make their way back to their homes, to actually see what Hurricane Ian has done to their property.
What he's also seeing are people like him and his partner all ready to help.
There's dump trucks, there's earth-moving equipment on multiple vehicles.
And you guys, normal assignment time for the American Red Cross volunteers is 2 weeks. Joe tells us that he will be in Florida for at least 3. In the studio, DeAndrea Turner, Fox 61 News.
All right, DeAndrea, he is doing good work. They all are. All right. Happening tomorrow, the defamation trial of conspiracy theorist Alex Jones will continue in Waterbury, and Jones is expected to take the stand sometime this week, possibly as early as tomorrow. The trial has been on pause since Thursday when Robbie Parker, the father of Sandy Hook shooting victim Emily Parker, testified. He said he had to deactivate Emily's memorial Facebook page because of the hateful comments that just became unmanageable. The judge also told the jury this week will likely be the last week of evidence before they have to decide how much money in damages Jones will have to pay the families. And speaking of Sandy Hook, the gun reforms that became law in the wake of that tragedy are now the subject of a legal challenge.
And it could go all the way to the nation's highest court. Fox 61's Matt Caron talks to the stakeholders, and he shows us both sides are confident they'll win. Matt.
Yeah, that's right. Don't forget, back in June, the United States Supreme Court actually ruled that the state of New York's handgun laws were too restrictive. Combine that with what we know is a federal court's already conservative composition, and state officials are certainly taking a risk if they want to take this case all the way to Washington. Gun rights advocates.
The case is viable, it is lawful, and we intend to win.
Versus the state of Connecticut.
We're going to win.
A recent U.S. Supreme Court ruling has opened the door to more scrutiny of gun laws, Connecticut having some of the strictest in the nation.
This is part and parcel of a national attack on Connecticut and Connecticut's gun laws and laws that keep our families safe. It's an attack on public safety. It's an attack on law enforcement. And we're going to fight tooth and nail to protect Connecticut's gun law.
The lawsuit filed by the Connecticut Citizens Defense League and a handful of other plaintiffs alleged that Connecticut's ban on certain semi-automatic weapons violates the 2nd and 14th Amendments.
Legal people just want to be able to defend themselves with firearms that all across the country other people are able to defend themselves with.
If the lawsuit is successful, about 50 so-called sporting rifles currently banned by state law would not only be available for purchase again, but for resale.
It's opening the door to the continued ownership.
So Connecticut's state and federal delegation is gearing up for the legal challenge of a lifetime to protect the laws they say have saved countless lives. Senator Richard Blumenthal called Connecticut's gun laws eminently constitutional, serving as a template for national gun reform.
There's the Safer Communities Act that we passed just recently. It was bipartisan, based on Connecticut's laws, like the ones that are being challenged now. So I think this is a futile, frivolous effort simply to gain publicity.
And even though the United States Supreme Court does lean conservative, just today they dealt a blow to gun rights advocates when they refused to take up a case on the federal ban on bump stocks. Bump stocks being an aftermarket product that makes a semi-automatic weapon fire faster. We're live here outside the federal courthouse in Hartford. Matt Caron, Fox 61 News.
Matt, thank you. A Hartford man facing robbery charges in an ATM holdup appeared in court today. Early Sunday morning, the Bristol Police Department received a call reporting an armed robbery at the Webster Bank ATM on Farmington Avenue. The victim reported being held up at gunpoint. Police say they identified the suspect as William Walker from Hartford. They said he tried to drive away after officers spotted him, but police say they managed to catch up to his car.
An update tonight. We now know the name of the motorcyclist killed in a crash in South Windsor last week. Police say 24-year-old Nathan Eberly of Simsbury was driving home from work Friday night when he was hit by a tractor trailer near Sullivan Avenue and Rye Street. Eberly died from his injuries. The crash is still under investigation, and anyone with any information is asked to contact police.